Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Ori. I'm SVP of Sales for Dynamic Yield. It's a pleasure having you here today and listening to my speech. When preparing for this speech, this is the first time that we're doing eTail Asia, so preparing for this speech, I thought we'd do something a little bit different here today, rather than just doing a regular speech or a regular case study. So I split this speech up into two parts. The first part is really practical. It's talking about personalization and showing you some common mistakes and easy wins. And it's literally something that you can take home with you and use it. I'll email the deck later to anyone that wants it. And the second part is I invited Ben Ludix, that you can see over there. He's going to join us a bit later. Ben is the CRO for Lamoda. Lamoda is one of the leading fashion retailers in the world and one of the most innovative. So he'll do an actual case study of the work we've done in the past 18 months and show some results. So very briefly, Dynamic Yield is one of the leading providers of personalization, optimization, and recommendation solutions for e-tailers worldwide. Working in eight different offices around the world and backed by leading American VCs as well as some media companies. We work with many different customers around the world. You can see a short list there. Customers such as Under Armour, Target, Liverpool Football Club, MakerBot, Lamoda, of course, and some of the other rocket brands. So we're very experienced in the space of personalization, optimization, and recommendation for the eTail industry. And a quick show of hands, just to get you engaged. Which one in the room is a retailer, is part of an e-commerce brand? Show of hands. All right, nice turnaround. And out of those, which has a personalization solution deployed already on their site? One. Way to go. So if I were to ask this question in the US, I'd get 90% hands up in the air. If I were to ask this in Europe, I'd get probably 50, 60% up in the air. And that's part of the opportunity that we have here today. And one of the reasons that we are here, e-commerce is booming in Asia, but the technology is a bit lagging behind, and that's the big opportunity. There is still so much more that we can do. So generally, especially all the people that raised their hands, but all of us, we're all in the pixel business. We're all in the real estate business. And at the end of the day, it comes down to a screen and what you show to the individual that's looking at that screen. If you show them something that's good, that's effective, you're gonna generate sales. And if you don't, you're not gonna generate sales. So we're all in the real estate business and in the attention business. You got to drive the attention. You've got a very short span of time to drive that attention. And what you need to connect between what people are looking for and what you want to say, and that's that sweet spot of relevance. It looks simple, but it's a very challenging task, especially if you've got millions of SKUs or thousands of SKUs. You've got a lot of different promotions. Relevancy is key. And then you have to remember the Pareto. E-commerce has a very aggressive Pareto. About 2 to 3% of your customers generate all of your sales. And the rest of the 97% don't, and that's part of the challenge. That's the big Pareto of e-commerce. And then this is one of my favorite slides. So on the left is your advertising technology. That's your Tesla. Here in the region as well. That's your retargeting solutions. That's Google, GDN, or DBM. That's the high-end targeting that you're paying so much money for to get that very well-targeted user to your site. And then on the right is what your CMS usually looks like. You paid all that money to get targeted traffic into your site, and then you give them non-targeted static experience, which looks exactly that way. And one of our targets is turning this into a full Tesla, Maserati, Ferrari, or Jaguar, for that matter. So let's dive in, and I'll do this very quickly, and if I don't have enough time, then I'll just email the deck to anybody that wants. And we also have a demo back there in the room, so you can come in and you can see it. We don't have to do that today, and I'll leave enough room for Ben to talk about his stuff. So the common mistakes of e-commerce, there's quite a few, but the first one I think is treating every customer the same way. So this is an example from Macy's. I buy off of Macy's very often. I'm a male in his 40s, unfortunately, that lives in a warm country, and this is the homepage Macy's gave me. So it's got really nice pink bras, it's got pretty decent red sweaters, and all completely irrelevant to me when they have my purchase history, my past behavior, and I come in through a search campaign searching for something completely different. So that's a miserable fail. When you go down to smaller screen, it's even tougher decisions. You've got less real estate, less pixels, and you have to figure out exactly what you want to show. And Nordstrom failed here completely as well when I came into the site. The second mistake is really over-reliance on your gut feeling. I'm seeing that all over the world. E-commerce marketeers or site owners that say, I know my customers and I know what they want and I have it in my gut. And we heard the previous speaker mention some of the results of A/B testing. And I'm going to say the same. Anything that you don't test, that you leave to your gut feeling, you're just leaving money on the table. So this example, again, very well-known brand. Is that banner that we see on the top the best possible banner that you can show to the user that's coming in? You see those 4 style groups at the top. Do we really need those? Then 858 items in category. Is that even relevant? Look at Google. Do you ever go through 858 listing pages in Google? So that's an example of relying on your gut feeling where you could actually see many times something that's completely different. This is taken off of our platform. So this is some examples of category sorting. What you see on the left is the default sort order for all visitors. And you see that the default sort order that worked absolutely best is when you sort the items from high to low in terms of price. That's what generated the most sales, $2.8 in average for revenue per session. But when you dive deep to the specific audiences, so on the right you see specific audiences, and for that was the worst sort order. So you really need to understand your customers and test things and understand what works and what doesn't, otherwise you're leaving this much money on the table. Same goes for page design. So you can see one design on the left and one design on the right. The difference is, and this is out of our experience, between left and right was 10% in average order value, just in terms of page design. So personalization in general is a 4-step process. It's tracking, so you need to get your analytics right, tracking omni-channel through all channels, then segmentation all the way down to a segment of 1, which is true personalization. Then it's acting based on those segments and learning and vice versa. That's the general process. So I'm going to describe a couple of easy wins right now, and this has quite a few. Again, if anybody wants this, I'll email it to them or come over to our demo stand and we'll show you. So a couple of examples, personalizing category pages. Category pages are one of the best discovery pages there are. If you personalize them and you choose the right layout per person, as well as provide affinity for brand, gender, and color. So if a person likes the color pink, show them pinks in the category pages. If they don't, show them the right color, show the right sizes, don't show irrelevant sizes. Weather-based targeting depends on the region. For example, our experience in the US is a good example. You don't promote a bathing suit to a person that lives in Minnesota. That just doesn't work, and vice versa. And Ben will show some examples that are great from Russia. Optimizing product pages. A product page when coming in through search is not a product page, it's a landing page. If a person has searched for a hoodie, and they come into the product page off of Google, Yandex, whatever search, they're now in a landing page and not in a product page. When you give them that Pinterest type of discovery experience on the bottom, then you're going to get much, much better results. I'm going to run through these all the way just so you see a couple of these examples. And I'll note my email on the bottom here so you can email me if you'd like to get some of these slides, and I want to leave enough room to invite Ben from Lamoda to come in and show a case study on what we've done together. Ben, please.
Thank you. So I'm trying to catch up here a little bit. Benjamin from La Moda. La Moda is the biggest fashion retailer in Russia and the CIS. We are overall operating in 4 different countries. We have about a little bit above 20 million unique visitors every month. Have above 100,000 SKUs online and over 900 international brands. What we have done work together with Dynamic Yield for the past 12 months, a little bit over 12 months by now, and overall I want to give you a sense of the scale that we have achieved over a short period of time. Overall we have created over 160 microsegments, we call them, which are segments we defined and that are available for our merchandisers to target on. 160 is a lot, that is actually evolving every day. Some of them gets thrown to the trash, some of them gets added on. Basically, it's an ongoing process of optimization, kind of you would do with your marketing campaigns. Yeah? So we try something out, we see if it works, and we scale. If it doesn't work out, we can kick them away. Then a couple of examples from rather a broad targeting down to a very specific targeting. What we do, Ori has already mentioned it, is weather-based targeting, which is Russia is a big country where there's snow on one side of the country, there will be sun on the other hand. So what we are automatically able to do is, based on the weather, we will change the banner. So once it rains, it will automatically change, and that is basically per region. So you just define as many regions as you want, you have a weather feed in there, and then you will be able to target them. The ease of use of the platform is very good. Yeah, we have actually one person managing the whole platform, working with these 160 microsegments. You just define what you want to target, you select the weather, and it goes live. Next one is a personalized homepage banners based on past behavior. What we were able to do is we were uploading our CRM data into the system, so we were not only able to target based on live data or the on-site behavior, we were also able to target based on what the user potentially bought historically. Dynamic Yield has helped us to define affinities of a particular user to features of a product. So for example, the color affinity, so this banner, which started out as a brand, once we have identified the customer, it could change the color towards his favorite color, or it could run a certain campaign that we want him to go to. Yeah, there should always be a fallback where you go to back. Next one is segment-specific coupons at critical micro moments. This is the key, and I think this is the most important tool we have at hand. Basically, if we think about the customer journey throughout our page, we picture it as a decision tree, and we have picked certain moments within that decision tree until he drops out the page or makes a purchase where we want to influence him. This can be very native looking or via coupon on the product page. And we try to influence him towards a behavior that is beneficial for us. Very subtle, we don't want to destroy his experience by bombing him with buy, but we have identified certain moments where we do that. That could be on the product page, for example, if he has already 2,000 rubles in his basket, but we know that he should have 3,000 in his basket, because that's when we hit our profitability, for example, or the order value is beneficial for us. So we will shoot certain campaigns that are most likely increase his order value. So for example, buy another 1,000 rubles and you will get 20% off, for example. It doesn't always have to be a coupon, but that is very effective. Next, to the result. What we have seen a 13% uplift in average order value. Well, that is one of the main targets we have most of the time, and a 25% increase in revenue per session. So it also increases, let's say, the overall revenue for the users and the conversion rate. Go to the next page. Ease of use. Again, you upload your visuals, your designers can just upload it in there, then it's available for your merchandisers, they set the rules, and then you can run it. This is a matter of minutes. Next one is, what we wanted to do is, especially for products that were not that well selling, we wanted to increase the sellout or the revenue made by that product without giving additional coupons, because coupons are really expensive. So what we were thinking about is, why don't we show the positive experience that past customers have, and we're able to automatically select the best reviews and the most well-formulated reviews to be shown to a customer after a certain period of time. So what we decide is if a customer is undecided about a certain product, automatically after a certain period of time, which you can define freely, we will show a review pushing him to make an additional sale, which increases the conversion rate. And again, it's very easy to use. Everything is already set up. Get familiar with the interface, and you have it set up in minutes. Then a very critical moment, the checkout page, when the customer is almost ready to make the purchase, actually a moment where everybody would tell you, okay, leave him alone, let him enter his email address, his details, and he should make the purchase. But we were very focused on profitability in this case. So a lot of customers who are at this stage, we would like to upsell. And it's a great, well, it's kind of a dangerous moment, but it's actually everything is almost done, so you can make your calculation, and Dynamic Yield is able to make that calculation live. So based on whatever the status of this customer is, plus where we want him to go, we can offer him something. So for example, if we know he has 5,000 rubles in his basket, he's about to check out, but we want him to buy an additional item, or for example, well, let's think a moment. If he bought one shoe, yeah, we could even say, okay, the return rate of that shoe, because the size is a little bit too large, it's more beneficial for us if he orders a second shoe, and then at least he has a higher chance that he actually buys one. So this banner doesn't necessarily have to say, okay, you get 1,000 rubles off. It could say, why don't you buy another shoe? We give you 5% off if you buy another shoe. And anyways, it's at no cost for you, can freely return, and we have a higher chance to actually make that purchase. This created a 1.5% uplift in AOV, and a 1%, it's kind of cannibalizing with the other micro moments, because actually this is nothing else than a micro moment. So, but the additional uplift on top of these other micro moments is 1.5. Then last point, what we do is based on the affinity and the segments we identified, we actually are able to do personalized landing pages on the fly. So we have this user coming to our page, we have identified her as having a high affinity to purple colors, as well as herself being very price sensitive. So what we do, we will, Dynamic Yield will put out a banner that will land to a landing page that looks very purple and is sorted by price. So this and this runs automatically. Yeah? You give them the product feed, you set the rules again in a very easy interface, and off you go. So, what do we believe in at Lamoda? We believe that personalization based on on-site behavior is maximizing your lifetime value. And that Dynamic Yield is giving you the tools to do that, and it's giving the tools to the right people. The ease of use is very important, because you actually have, in order to operate at scale with 20+ million visitors per month, you have to find an easy way to personalize. Yeah? You have to find ways to start and then scale it up, and that's the platform providing us very well. In terms of what we achieved with Dynamic Yield over the past 12 months. Overall, we saw 26 times return on investment. Yeah, so whatever the platform costs us, plus whatever we spend on our side for developing or product management on other side, our merchandisers, with a 26% return. That equals $11 million on additional revenue that we made via their platform. That is A/B tested with significancy well above levels that we are confident with. Overall, we made 5 million additional revenue in the first 90 days alone. So it's really easy to set up. Your teams can start right away after a short period of implementation and setting up those micro segments, but then it's basically good to go.